I deserve good things because I'm a human being. That's all. That's it.
The shawty popping bottles and she said that she don't need me. Shawty popping bottle like she Luigi. The shawty tell me that she gon' tell her nigga to win me.
Hey y'all, how y'all doing? Hi, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Kavindu, or just Kavindu. So today's video was inspired by my friend. I'll leave her link to her Instagram and YouTube below. She's a really good friend of mine. She did a question tag on Instagram about biggest lessons her followers have learned in 2021. I also did the same thing. I put it on my question sticker, and there was like a good number of people who answered, and I was like, you know what, why not do a lesson of my biggest lessons of 2021, because I feel like if there's a year that I've really learned a lot, it's this year. And not just learning, but also implementing lessons, it's this year. Because it's one thing to learn a lesson, but it's another thing to implement the lessons that you have learned. So if you are interested, let's get right. So lesson number 5, I'm going to go from 5 to 1. Lesson number 5 is the importance of networking and putting myself out there. There's a year I've really put myself out there. Actually, not the year, let me just say this last quarter of the year, from October till now, I have really put myself out there. I feel like I've really put myself out there. Going out, like just going out, meeting people, attending free webinars, attending free Zoom meetings with people who you look up to, or people whose goals align with yours, or people who in your field have already made it, or not, honestly. So the thing I learned about it is that the more you put yourself out there, the more you put your work out there, the more you're recognized. And the more you're recognized, the easier it is for you to grow. I'm speaking from a perspective of content creation, because in terms of putting myself out there, I put myself out there to learn more about this, influencer marketing business. Also, on Instagram, DMing people who make the same content as me, or people who were in the same journey, has been really good. Friends on Instagram who do the same thing that I do, and the thing with that is it's very easy for them to understand what you're going through. Okay, it's very easy for them to advise you compared to someone who has no idea what you're doing and all of that. So that's one thing I'd say. Put yourself out there, but you need to recognize that not everything can be done alone. Sometimes you need help, and the best help is always people who understand what you need or what you're going. Lesson number 4 has to be learning my priorities and learning to prioritize things in my life. Now, there was a certain point in my life where anything took priority. Honestly, depending on my feelings, on my emotions, anything took priority. So sometimes my life is my priority, sometimes my school is priority, sometimes content creation is my priority, sometimes my relationship is a priority. But I learned to prioritize and say, okay, what is important to me? What feels most important to me? First priority is my peace. My first priority is my peace. My second priority is school. Okay? So, but school is not always my second priority, because sometimes we're on holiday, and when you're on holiday, some things take priority over school. You get. So learning to prioritize has really helped me, especially in terms of time management and setting boundaries. Because if you know your priorities, what I think, or what I've learned, is that when you know your priorities, you know how to allocate your time. If, for example, I prioritize school right now because I'm in school, and someone asks me to go out at a time that I have planned to do schoolwork, there's a higher chance that I'm going to say, no, not today, because I need to do school. But if school wasn't a priority for me, or I hadn't prioritized, then it would just be, everything is everywhere. There's no priorities, just, yeah. So I'd be like, yeah, sure, okay. And then before I know it, I'm behind on schoolwork, I have nothing to do, or something of the sort. Do you get? write down your priorities. That's one thing that helps. You just need to write them down and build enough discipline to actually execute it. And number 3, now this one is a really good one. This one's a good one. Lesson number 3 is vibrating at a high frequency. Now I know some of you are looking at me like, what do you mean by that?
What do you mean by that?
You're into that manifesting shit? Yes, I am. Here's the thing. I actively learned about manifesting and the law of attraction this year. In 2020 I heard of it, like, like rumors, but this year is when I actually actively learned to listen to it and actually wanted to know what it was all about. Anger and depression and fear and grief, they all are low frequency emotions. But peace, love, joy, abundance, gratitude, those ones are higher vibration emotions. Okay, whatever frequency you vibrate at, you attract things that vibrate at the same frequency. That's what I mean. Where all this is coming together is the fact that when I started being more grateful for the things I had, when I started being happy, when I started prioritizing my inner peace, when I started doing things that made me feel at peace, that made me happy, that made me grateful, when I started seeing my life as, abundance. I always tell my friends that I literally may not have any money, but I'll tell you I'll have money by the end of this time, and I will probably have money by the end of that time. There's a higher probability. Like, the more experiences and opportunities I saw that aligned with that, I don't know, like, especially the end of this year, the last quarter of this year, I have just been happy. Like, I've just been happy. I can't explain it. I've been happy, and the things that have been coming my way have been things that make me happy, things that make me grateful, like, things like those. Like, let me give an example of this iPhone. I really needed an iPhone to create content because I didn't like my Samsung. I didn't like how it created content and all of that, all those things. So I kept on manifesting an iPhone. Every time I saw an iPhone, I'd feel so bad that I don't have it and all of that. And then at some point I said, you know what, I give up, and I stopped manifesting an iPhone completely. And then I started being more grateful that I actually have a phone, that I have something, like, I'm not out of touch with the world, like, more gratitude. And the more grateful I was, this iPhone came. So it didn't just fall in my lap, but things happened anyway. So that's the thing, the experiences and the opportunities, the more positive you are about things, the more positive experiences come, and the more opportunities you will see for you to achieve your goal if you're in a positive mindset. Number two was self-care versus self-sabotage. This one had to hit me hard. Like, those lessons you have to learn the hard way. This was one of those lessons. Self-care versus self-sabotage. There are a lot of things that we do, especially as ladies, that feel like self-care, but in actual sense are self-sabotage. Especially, I'm going to speak financially. I'm going to speak on the financial aspect. Mimi, when I first learned of self-care, I always knew self-care is what? Putting on a mask, buying the things you want. You get money, small money when they get like this, my enjoyment.
Any money where I get like this, any little change, now enjoyment.
Now, I always say this on my Instagram, but to be honest, I'm joking. I'm really joking. No, I'm not. Thing is, I'm always like, this is self-care, Do you get what I mean? Like, I'm just taking care of myself. I had to learn the hard way that sometimes saving is self-care. Putting your money aside for emergencies is self-care. Self-sabotage is getting money, refusing to save, all because now in my mindset, I couldn't save because I don't know how to save. So of course that's a very limiting mindset, because I'm like, if you say you don't know how to save, then you will not save. And self-sabotage would be like, I'd have money this week, but by the end of the week I have no money. Do you know why? Because I've spent all of it on food in the name of self-care, but this other week I need that money for something else, for something important, but I don't have the money. Do you understand? I hope I'm making sense. Self-care doesn't always mean buying yourself something. Self-care sometimes means putting that money aside because you don't need what you're buying at the moment. You don't need it. Like you're eating KFC 5 times a week in the name of self-care. Girl, come on. You know you can't afford KFC 5 times a week, but you still get KFC 5 times a week. That's self-sabotage. That's not self-care. That's sabotaging yourself. I'm sure there's something you'd like to save for, something important that you want to save for, but you're not saving for it because you're wasting all your money on something else. Think about it. Really think about it. Something that I'm working on myself, because I'm still not out of that cycle of self-sabotage. Sometimes I am, sometimes I'm not, but it's a lesson that's worth it. And number one, my most important lesson for this year is recognizing and owning my self-worth. Listen, recognize and own your self-worth and your value. This girl, there's this woman, I'm going to link these 2 videos below. There's one by Sarah Jakes Roberts. It was actually an interview. It wasn't her, but it was an interview from her. And another video that I watched today morning actually by Launch to Wealth. So according to Sarah Jakes Roberts, this is where I get my definition of self-worth. To her, self-worth is the belief that I belong in every space and room that I am in, and I bring value to that space. The time I realized that I really am not valuing myself is when I sat down. Like this one, I had to sit myself down and realize and really evaluate my worth. I really thought I didn't deserve a lot of things. I didn't deserve to be wealthy beyond my wildest imagination. I wasn't worthy of it. I wasn't worthy of my goals. I mean, I'd make them, I'd write them down, but I didn't feel worthy of them. Let me tell you, the time I recognized that I really did not recognize my self-worth, I cried. Because self-worth is something so important, yet it's so small, but it's so big at the same time. You get? So having to recognize that this specific thing, what you're giving me is not enough for me. And listen, I want to tell you something. You don't need a reason to deserve good things. Do you understand me? You don't need a reason. You don't need to be pretty to deserve good things. You don't have to be rich to deserve good things. Okay? You don't. Like, that's another lesson that I had to learn. I deserve good things because I'm a human being. That's all. That's it. I deserve respect because I'm a human being. Now this one I'm going to say for now, like right now, this one is a journey you have to take consciously to recognize your self-worth. Something that's helped me build my self-worth is affirmations, and not just reading random affirmations. Like, what are my strengths? I'm a good speaker. I'm an amazing planner. I'm good at memorizing things. I'm good at making videos. You need to address your strengths. Don't focus so much on your weaknesses. Focus on your strengths. What are your strengths? Recognize them. And sometimes one thing I really battled with was recognizing that my strengths are mine. Like, I always be like, I'm a good speaker. Are you really? I doubt myself in the middle of that sentence, but the more I said it, the more I believed it, and the more I became it. I told myself I'm a really good content creator, And that's what I do. I tell myself I'm creative. And that's what I do. And that's what I am. You need to build your self-worth. You need to build your self-worth. And don't let anyone tell you that you're not worthy of something. Don't let anyone tell you you're not worthy of good things. You are. You are, because you're a human being. Because you are a human being. Anyway, guys, I hope you have enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. I hope this has added a bit of value to your life, because that is what I feel like I want my channel to be about, adding value to your life as you add value to mine, you know. So yes, I hope you have enjoyed this video. Thank you for stopping by, you know. Anyway, you know, while you're here, you might as well like the video. I mean, you're already here, might as well. Thank you for coming, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.
And she said that she don't need me. Shawty popping